Early this morning, Melbourne time, the Australian-born Mary Donaldson became Queen of Denmark as her husband Frederik replaced his mother to become King Frederik X. They sealed it with a kiss in front of a crowd estimated 100,000. The King got quite emotional, wiped away a tear, and he promised Danes to do what kings should do: unite.
At blive en samlende konge af i morgen. Det er en opgave, jeg har nærmet mig hele mit liv. Det er et ansvar, jeg tager på mig med respekt, stolthed og stor glæde.
I see many Australians, especially Tasmanians, loving the idea that even one of us can rise to royalty.
Good luck to her. Good on her.
Good on her.
Good on him. Yeah.
Good on her.
Oh, it's wonderful. Finally, an Australian on a throne somewhere.
He seems quite at home.
Good day, and let us be honest straight away. If you think power in a monarchy only sits with the person wearing the crown, you have not been paying attention. Because while King Frederik's moves made the noise, Queen Mary's decisions have been doing the heavy lifting quietly, efficiently, and with the kind of precision that makes political strategists nod in approval. Before we unpack this, take a moment to subscribe to Royal News Daily and click the notifications bell icon. It is the easiest way to stay informed without having to read between the palace press releases yourself. Now here is the clever part. Queen Mary did not storm the royal court waving reform like a protest placard. She did something far more effective. She normalized change, one decision at a time, one priority shift at a time. So subtle that by the time anyone noticed, the system was already operating differently. Her influence began with focus. Causes that once sat politely on the sidelines were moved into the center of the royal conversation. Mental health, social cohesion, youth well-being, and long-term community resilience were no longer treated as ceremonial interests. They became strategic pillars. That is not charity work. That is institutional positioning. Think of it like a senior minister quietly rewriting the policy agenda while everyone else is distracted by question time theatrics. The headlines chase noise, while real power moves silently. Transitioning here, let us talk about internal culture, because this is where Queen Mary's impact becomes undeniable. The royal court is not just a family. It is an organization, and organizations reflect leadership. Advisory structures evolved. Expertise mattered more than tradition alone. Efficiency replaced ritual in places where ritual slowed progress. This is the part that made traditionalists uncomfortable, not because it was wrong, but because it worked. When systems run smoother, excuses disappear, and that always rattles those who benefit from complexity. From an Australian political lens, this feels familiar. Reform is rarely rejected because it fails. It is rejected because it threatens comfort. Queen Mary's approach avoided that trap by making change feel inevitable rather than confrontational. Another sharp move was communication tone. The royal court's public messaging became more grounded, more human, and more aligned with modern expectations. Less distance, less formality for the sake of it, more clarity. In a world allergic to spin, that matters. Here is the hook most people missed. Queen Mary did not just modernize what the monarchy says. She influenced how it listens. Engagement became two-way. Communities were not just visited, they were acknowledged. That subtle shift builds trust, and trust is political gold. Internationally, her presence reshaped Denmark's image. Diplomatic engagements felt informed, prepared, and credible. Not ornamental, not performative. She projected a monarchy that understands global conversations rather than reacting to them late. Critics initially dismissed this as soft influence. That was a mistake. Soft influence is often the hardest to reverse. Once expectations shift, going backwards looks irresponsible. Now, let us address the unspoken tension. When one figure reshapes an institution quietly, questions arise about balance, about visibility, about who is really steering the ship. But here is the truth. Effective leadership does not compete for attention. It coordinates outcomes. Queen Mary's decisions complemented Frederik's boldness. Where he accelerated publicly, she stabilized internally. Where he projected change, she embedded it. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. The suspense here is not scandal. It is sustainability. Can these reforms hold under pressure? Can a monarchy maintain this balance without triggering backlash from traditional power centers? That remains to be seen. But one thing is already clear. Queen Mary is not a background figure in Denmark's royal future. She's an architect, quiet, methodical, and remarkably effective. So while cameras chase crowns and ceremonies, the real transformation continues behind the scenes, guided by decisions that do not shout but certainly echo. Thank you for watching Royal News Daily.